All right, well, welcome back to Life the Wild Ride. Hopefully, we can get back on track. I do want to thank everybody for the condolences of my dad passing a few weeks ago. Well, we're still going to be caring for my mom, my brother, and I, who's over across the way. And if you don't recognize this area, I'm actually in my dad's workshop. My brother and I are both. It's in his basement, so we can still care for mom and continue building and be right here if she needs anything. And so it's going to kind of work out for us. And she can remain here at home, and we can I don't know, I guess I'm just yapping now, but anyway, today I am going to try to build some of the cabinet doors for the upper cabinet in the bus. And I actually built that cabinet in Dad's shop down here, the first one, so I'm going to go ahead and build the doors for it too. So we'll kind of take you through that process a little bit and kind of be trial and error, but we'll see how it all goes. So stick around and let's get started. All right, so my hope is to, I'm trying to show you an example of a door or something here. Hold on a minute. So this is not one of them. This is already a pre-built door. I don't have the tools to make all these like this, which is fine. I'm just going to butt them up, probably use pocket hole screws. But I just want to show you this example. Basically, you got your pieces around the edge, and they're going to have a panel in the middle. This will be painted the same color as my cabinetry, and I want to make this out of tiger maple. So this is a piece I found. I got a bunch of it. I'm going to rip it down to this width because this is like the smallest one I found, and then I'm just going to go ahead and use the dado blade and rip this out, making like a little rabbit here, which will allow for a panel to set down in there just like this one here. So that's what we're going to be working on. I get this wood from a good friend of mine. It's pieces and scraps that he can't use, so I try to be super efficient with it and measure everything out ahead of time so I can get the most out of every piece, because there's no two pieces alike. So I'm going to rip them down to this width here, and I'll use this long one for the 15-inch pieces, and I can use this for the 8.5-inch pieces, so I'm not wasting. I mean, I don't have a lot of longer stuff, so I got to make sure I utilize those to their fullest potential. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and rip down a few pieces of this to the same width as this, and then dado them out like this. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so I got them cut down. Ideally, it's best to work with a long piece and cut this as a whole long piece first and then cut up the segments. But where I'm working with stuff I've picked up for free and scraps, I got to do it in pieces as we go. So we got the dado set up here. This is the kind that appears to wobble, but it's going to cut this groove for us, and we're going to do that in each of these pieces, and that will be the slot that will allow it to receive the panel once we get it all put together. I've got all that. They cut in all these pieces here, and again, this is just the first one, so hopefully this is going to work out. Now these got to be cut down to the right length, but I'm doing all this stuff ahead of time, then I'll cut the length after I'm done. The next thing I'm going to do is, this is really just for looks, you can either leave it squared off like this. I can put a round over bit in the lathe, not the lathe, the router, and round over the edges, which is probably what I'm going to do. And this is just, again, this is just going to be for looks. You know, you can leave it any way. You can do a decorative edge, whatever you want to do. So that's probably the next thing we're going to do is round over these two edges, and then we can start cutting these down to size and building the outer frame of the cabinet doors. So I got a round over bit on the router here, and I did a test piece here. It's a little bit dark, but I think we're going to like this look. But before we do that, we're going to put the doors together, which I already kind of jumped ahead a little bit. Go over and take a look. That's what we got going so far. And I had to cut away part of the dado on one part of here, so the doors would go flush on the front with each other. So you can see this one here we cut away. Hopefully that makes sense. The next one I build, I'll show it a little bit more close up. But if you look on the edge here, you can see, hopefully, what we did here. So this one here, we cut this away like this so it overlaps, gives us our channel all the way around here. without looking at it through here, but still gives us a flat front on the surface. So I got it glued up, and we're actually putting the screws in it now, and then we'll take it over and run it through the router. I'm clamping up these joints this way too to prevent them from moving when I put the screws in. So there we have it. Definitely is not perfect. In fact, there's a few issues I see right away, but hopefully we can make it work. And this piece had this pretty bad knot in it, so I'm not sure if we're gonna keep this one, but this will be how we do it, and this will allow the insert panel to set in, and we'll round these over and see what it looks like. Alright, so I got it together here, and I'm not really happy with it. I gotta sand out these burn marks or they will show, and it didn't quite butt up tight in this corner, so that's why I got it clamped down like this. So I'm thinking I might go back and rebuild them and just do more of a basic design like this here, and just gently ease the corners over instead of trying to router them over and getting all those burn marks. And I can do a little bit of a decorative molding in here for the back, for the panel to set against, and that'll eliminate me having to do the fancy cutting on the back side of this to receive that panel. And it does away with a lot more of the difficulties of making sure these corners are tight, because I'm not a cabinet maker, but I can make this work somehow and find a little bit better way, still make it look nice, still using Tiger Maple, and cut out a lot of extra work. But I'll post this video as kind of a fail for cabinet door builds, but you learn from your mistakes, and I'll make a better door next time. Anyways, thanks for swinging by Life the Wild Ride. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next Monday for another video. Don't forget to click on some links down in the description. I did use the Kreg pocket hole jig for this. I'll put a link down there for that. It's a very, very handy tool. And of course, you know what? I'll put some Titebond 3 glue in the description as well, because that stuff is super handy. I use it all the time. Have a great day, and don't forget, life is a wild ride.